Hi everyone! If you're a Singaporean retiree or soon-to-be retiree, this video is made just for you. Imagine this, your CPF Life payouts giving you a lifelong income. And when you bring that money into Johor Bahru, it multiplies into a lifestyle so comfortable it feels downright luxurious. I'm going to show you exactly how CPF Life, the new RTS Link, and JB's mega developments can combine into a retirement plan that's not only achievable but exciting. Make sure you watch till the very end because I'll be sharing real numbers, property tips, and retirement strategies that could completely change the way you see your golden years. And if you want more Singaporeans to learn how to retire stress-free and cash flow rich, please like this video so it reaches more people and hit subscribe to Wealth for You so you don't miss any of my future guides. Chapter 1. CPF Life, Your Lifetime ATM. At age 55, something important happens in your CPF. Your special account is closed, and the money is transferred into your retirement account, up to the full retirement sum. Any balance left in your special account is then moved to your ordinary account. Now, if you want to maximize your payouts later, you can top up to the enhanced retirement sum. In 2027, that amount will be about $456,400. So what does that mean in terms of monthly payouts? Using CPF's own life estimator, a member with the enhanced retirement sum can expect roughly around $3,300 plus per month if you start payouts at 65, or higher payouts, closer to $4,700 per month if you defer until 70. Of course, the exact numbers depend on your age, gender, and which CPF life plan you choose. But the principle is simple. The later you start, the more you'll get each month. And that's the beauty of CPF Life. It's a guaranteed monthly income for life. No tenants to chase, no property repairs, no worrying about market crashes. Just dependable cash flowing in like clockwork. Think of it as your very own lifelong ATM. Now, some people prefer to wait till 70 for the bigger payout. But for me personally, I wouldn't wait. Policies can change, and I'd rather lock in my payout earlier at 65 while I'm still healthy and able to enjoy it. To me, that's the smarter way to balance certainty and lifestyle. Chapter 2. Stretching Your Dollar in JB. Now, let's take those CPF Life payouts and bring them into Johor Bahru. If you're receiving around $4,720 a month, that translates to roughly 15,600 ringgit, based on today's exchange rates of about 3.3 ringgit to the dollar. Of course, the exchange rate does fluctuate, so this number isn't fixed, but it gives us a very realistic picture. Here's where it gets exciting. The cost of living in JB is generally much lower than in Singapore. Many retirees say they can live comfortably on about $1,200 per month per person, covering housing, food, and transport. Of course, this depends on your lifestyle. Rent a modern condo in a prime location, and your budget needs to be higher. Eat mostly at local hawker stalls, and you'll spend a fraction compared to Singapore cafes. Owning a car will cost more than just using Grab or public transport. To illustrate, a haircut might be 15 ringgit, about 4 or 50 cents, often with a mini massage thrown in. Breakfast. That cafe breakfast that might cost $40 in Singapore could be just 50 ringgit, around $15 in JB. A car wash, $12 to $15 in Singapore, 10 ringgit in JB. And they even vacuum your car. So if your CPF payout brings in the equivalent of 15,600 ringgit a month, and you're only spending, say, 10,000 to 15,000 ringgit for a very comfortable lifestyle, you'll still have a healthy surplus. The exact numbers will vary depending on how you live, but the principle is clear. Your money stretches further in JB. For many Singaporeans, that means not just getting by, but actually upgrading their lifestyle while keeping costs under control. Chapter 3. Lifestyle and Everyday Benefits. Beyond the dollars and cents, the lifestyle difference is huge. Proximity. JB is literally just across the causeway. You can pop back to Singapore for family gatherings, medical checkups, or to see your grandkids, all within an hour or two. That closeness gives retirees the best of both worlds. Affordable daily living in JB, with the comfort of knowing Singapore is always nearby. Space. For the same amount you'd pay for a tiny flat in Singapore, you could be enjoying a spacious condo or even a landed property in JB. Imagine having extra bedrooms for visiting family, a garden to grow your own plants, or simply more breathing room without stretching your wallet. Convenience. Shopping malls like KSL and Mid-Valley South Key already feel familiar to many Singaporeans, offering the same brands, cafes, and supermarkets. Only this time you're paying in ringgit. And with more mega developments coming up around the RTS terminal, convenience is only going to get better. Car washes, groceries, beauty treatments, and massages all cost a fraction of what you'd pay in Singapore. A quick haircut might set you back 15 ringgit. A hearty cafe breakfast may be 50 ringgit, the same things that could cost 3 to 5 times more across the causeway. It's no wonder that thousands of Singaporeans already treat JB as their weekend escape hatch. For retirement, it's simply about turning that weekend indulgence into your everyday lifestyle. Affordable, comfortable, and just a short ride from home. Chapter 4. JB's Future. Now let's talk about the future of Johor Bahru, because it's not just about what JB is today. It's about what it's becoming. In 2026, the Rapid Transit System, or RTS, will finally open, directly linking Woodlands North in Singapore to Bukit Chagar in JB. The ride itself will take just 5 minutes. No more sitting in causeway jams for hours. No more frustration at the checkpoints. For retirees, that means hopping across for a family meal, a medical appointment, or even a day out shopping becomes almost as simple as taking an MRT ride within Singapore. And it doesn't stop there. Right where the RTS terminal lands in Bukit Chagar, a 786 million Singapore dollar mega development is rising. Picture this. A massive mall topped by 4 sleek towers housing offices, serviced apartments, hotels, and even a wellness hub. By the time it's fully ready in 2033, this entire area is set to become the new city center of Johor Bahru, buzzing with life, activity, and opportunities. For retirees, this is a game changer. You'll have world-class malls, medical facilities, cafes, and lifestyle hubs right at your doorstep. And of course, properties around the RTS and this new development are already being seen as future hotspots. A reminder that retiring in JB doesn't just make sense today. It could also mean enjoying the upside of tomorrow's growth. Chapter 5. Property and Lifestyle. When it comes to settling down in JB, you've got choices. And the lifestyle you want will determine which path makes the most sense. Condos are by far the most popular with retirees. They're convenient, secure, and come with amenities like pools, gyms, and 24-hour security. The biggest advantage? They're easy to manage. If you want to travel for a month or two, you can literally just lock up and go, knowing everything will still be in order when you return. Landed homes, on the other hand, give you lots of space, sometimes too much. 4 bedrooms, a garden, and a driveway sound great, but they also come with more maintenance. You'll need to handle repairs, gardening, and security yourself, or hire people to do it. And many landed properties sit in suburban areas, which means more driving to get to food, shops, or healthcare. It's a trade-off between space and convenience. Now, if you're unsure about committing, renting is a smart first step. Rental contracts in Malaysia are usually for a year, with a 2.5-month deposit. That's 1 month's rent as a security deposit, 1 month for advance rent, and half a month for utilities. Landlords generally don't care about your visa status, so renting gives you the flexibility to test out JB living before putting down a big investment. For those thinking of buying, Yes, Singaporeans can buy property in JB, but the rules matter. In Johor, the general minimum purchase for foreigners is 1 million ringgit, though it can vary depending on property type and state policies. For landed homes in certain international zones, the bar can be as high as 2 million ringgit. The one big exception is Medini, where there's no minimum price. That's why you see a lot of foreign investors there. Dongga Bay used to have some lower thresholds around 500,000 ringgit, but those were special exceptions. And today most properties there also fall under the 1 million ringgit rule. And remember, foreigners cannot buy certain categories of housing, like low-cost flats or properties on Malay-reserved land. It's also important to factor in transaction costs, stamp duties, legal fees, and in Johor, a state consent levy for foreigners. These can add up, so you'll want to budget beyond just the purchase price. One popular strategy many Singaporeans use is the HDB rental play. If your flat is fully paid up and past the minimum occupation period, you can rent it out for around $3,000 a month. That instantly turns into nearly 10,000 ringgit of spending money in JB. And because your daily expenses in JB are much lower, this creates a powerful cash flow buffer, essentially funding your retirement lifestyle without touching much of your CPF payouts or savings. The Malaysia My Second Home, or MM2H program, now operating under a revised tiered system, requires higher financial commitments than before. Applicants can choose between silver, gold, and platinum tiers, plus a special economic zone option, with fixed deposits ranging from 150,000 to $1 million and property purchases from 600,000 to 2 million ringgit, depending on the tier. Visa durations run from 10 to 20 years and are renewable, with no minimum stay requirement for those aged 50 and above. While lower tiers restrict work opportunities, platinum holders may work or do business, and dependents such as spouses and unmarried children can be included. These stricter requirements mean retirees must plan finances carefully before committing. That's why I always say, renting first is the smartest move. Live in JB for a year, experience the lifestyle, get familiar with the areas, and understand the rules. Then, if you're comfortable, you can decide whether to buy. Chapter 6. Practical Considerations. When planning retirement in JB, there are a few practical things to keep in mind. Let's start with cars. One of the biggest lifestyle upgrades many retirees enjoy is owning a car again. In Malaysia, cars are much cheaper because there's no COE, and having your own set of wheels makes getting around JB far more convenient. Now, technically, Singaporeans can drive a Malaysian car into Singapore, but there are strict rules. You'll need a vehicle entry permit, valid insurance, and proper road tax. Plus, Singapore law doesn't allow citizens or PRs to keep and use a foreign-registered vehicle in Singapore long-term. So for most retirees, the car is really meant for JB life, and that's usually more than enough. Next, loans. Yes, Malaysian banks like Maybank, CIMB, and UOB Malaysia do lend to Singaporeans, often up to 70% of the purchase price. The process is similar to Singapore. They'll look at your income documents, CPF history, and credit records. The tenure depends on your age. Most banks let you borrow until age 70, so if you're 55, that could mean a 15-year loan. That said, the older you are, the shorter the tenure, and the higher the monthly payments. This is why many retirees prefer to buy in cash. It's simpler, and it removes the stress of debt in your golden years. On taxes, Malaysia only taxes income that comes from Malaysian sources, such as rental income from a JB property. Your CPF payouts, dividends, and Singapore income are generally not taxable in Malaysia. If you spend enough time in Malaysia, you may become a tax resident there. But thanks to the double taxation agreement between Singapore and Malaysia, you won't get taxed twice on the same income. As for language, you'll be fine. English is widely spoken in JB, especially in the malls, cafes, and business areas. Even if the grammar isn't perfect, communication is rarely an issue. And if you pick up a bit of Malay, it'll enrich your experience and make everyday interactions more enjoyable. Final thoughts. Retire brilliantly. So there you go. Retirement doesn't mean cutting back. It can actually mean upgrading your lifestyle and doing it affordably. With CPF Life payouts giving you steady income, the upcoming RTS Link making travel a breeze, exciting mega malls and new developments reshaping JB, and all the practical options we've talked about, from property and visas to cars and everyday living, your retirement can be secure, comfortable, and even a little adventurous. If this vision excites you, do me a favor, hit like on this video and subscribe to Wealth for You. That way, more Singaporeans can discover how to retire cash flow rich, stress-free, and full of adventure. After all, we're not just aiming to retire, we're aiming to retire brilliantly. Catch you next time, and remember, your JB retirement adventure awaits.